What's up, trainers? Coach MccDann here. When we set a new goal for ourselves, we oftentimes get too wrapped up in the what-ifs and overall results of what working up to that goal might look like. This type of thinking can severely interfere with one's own competitive nature and is derived from a more fixed mindset. So today, we're going to dive into the process of letting go of the outcome and learn the way that most progressive players think to either secure a victory or make use of info from a loss. Let's get you into a warm-up to focus on decision making. Go into training mode, select Final Destination as your stage, and for 5 minutes, focus on doing a unique get-up option from ledge. Practice rolling, neutral get-up, jumping, and attacking from ledge in any order you like. But don't do the same one twice. Repeat this pattern until you've hit the time limit. When setting a goal for almost anything, there's a series of things that will be required of one person to achieve that goal. However, something that a lot of people in general like to do is focus their minds on the end goal only. This can be quite an issue for those who want to achieve that goal, but don't keep in mind of where they're starting at first. Assume you want to climb a mountain. You ask yourself, how do I go about climbing that mountain? If you manage to take one step forward, congratulations, you've already made some progress. Now, are you at the top of the mountain? Of course not. In fact, there's thousands of steps ahead before that's even feasibly possible. But the point of this example is to point out something that is quite common amongst humans, and it's that we don't recognize the active progress we're making, but rather just focusing on an end goal we want to achieve. So now let's apply that to competition. Let's say you want to make a top 8 placement at your local Smash tournament. You set the bar and you're ready to grind matches once every single week, or every other week you attend. And suddenly, it's almost like you've hit a wall. Whether that means you can't even come close to outperforming your own seed, you seem to do well enough to make it far but you keep placing 9th, or you just keep getting matched up against someone who just simply beats you every time. Believe me, I've even been there before. So what happens then? Typically, players with a fixed mindset begin to talk themselves out of striving for that initial goal. Some even might think if success isn't guaranteed, then what is the purpose of even trying? What makes the effort to work up to that goal worth it if it's riddled with failures and mistakes? If you believe that this is how you think, that's totally okay and a normal part of the process of being passionate about something. But now, it's important we take the time to reflect on that thinking and open the door to building a more progressive mindset that allows for room for improvement. So let's dive into the art of letting go of the outcome. Have you ever been in an intense Game 3 or Game 5 of a set? If so, you might recall the type of feelings that might have come up during those last few moments before the set ended. Some players don't care too much about the win or loss, while others might care more about winning the game to advance in the tournament. Either way, tensions are high, and mistakes can be made because of it. This is often when players begin to play entirely differently than what they're used to. They might miss out on obvious kill options, kill confirms, or they'll just put themselves in a situation where they're more vulnerable to losing the game, even if the match might have been in their favor. These sets are ones that are hardest to process when losing one, but is a pivotal learning opportunity for players that treat it as such. Not only does letting go of the outcome of any game allow for a player to notice almost immediately what they could have done to win, but ultimately, it gives the player yet another chance to try again in the next bracket. This could be a more generalized way of processing a loss, something I also made a guide on in the Game Gym app, feel free to check that out too. But overall, serves its purpose as just another chance to work on these situations if you seem to let the fear of failing overwhelm you on any level. Obviously, being nervous is a normal human emotion that even some of the best competitors often feel. But what we want to focus on is the opportunity to recognize those nerves, but not let them dictate our real-world actions. So, we've gone over a ton of examples, but how do we actually let go of the outcome? While there is no definitive answer, there is certainly a method that would work best for you that you might have not tried yet. Just know that beyond this point, your own individual willingness to learn becomes the main priority. Players often forget that along with successfully reaching the goal comes with many failures before it. So in the next situation that comes up where the fear of losing or failure to achieve your goal sets in, be aware of it. Cultivate an understanding that winning that match you're in is entirely feasible, and if you walk away on a loss, be ready to recall the situation that might have caused that outcome. Lock in with deep breaths and intentional decision making for the situation you're in. And even if you come close, you'll be building your own understanding of how to operate in that state of mind. Letting go of any feasible outcome isn't easy for those of us who just want to achieve that goal without keeping in mind the effort it takes to get there. So take the time to realize that where you are right now is exactly where you wished you want to be at some point or another. Developing this awareness doesn't happen overnight, but it's just another method of thinking that can be developed for the long term to inevitably turn the tides of future situations where you can recall a similar moment like this that you've already been in. Because at the end of the day, everyone who is successful has failed more times than most have tried. Overall, letting go of the outcome of any set or match isn't a step-by-step process, but it's a new emotion that you can choose to actively develop and help assist you in your own competitive journey, and everything else beyond that. Alrighty, for our scrim today, let's start developing that mindset we've talked about, but in an online environment. Play 3 to 5 games online or with a friend or family member or high-level CPU. Save replays of any games you lose and VOD review them as you play along. Keep in mind of the last hit situations and the actions you make during them, and show yourself some compassion in moments where you think a win for you might have looked obvious. And do your best to improve in that next battle.
Yeah.